Dungeon Crawlers, we're here live at Fantasy Con. We're going to bring you an amazing interview with actor Sean Astin. That's right, Sam Gamgee himself is here, and you can catch us right now.
Get comfortable, come on.
Whoever wants to ask the first question.
We'll go around the horn. Start here.
Hi, my name's Ashley. I'm with Slug Magazine.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well, Ashley. Hello.
You enjoying Salt Lake so far?
I love this city. Always have, always will. I mean, I can't say that I always will. I hope I always will. But yeah, no, I've been here a bunch, so I like Salt Lake City.
That's awesome. I was wondering,
Fry sauce.
fry sauce is delicious. That is the best part about Salt Lake. Go outside of Salt Lake, it's culture shock. You're like, what? Anytime you talk about fry sauce, they're like, what are you talking about? You're like, you don't know what fry sauce is? You guys.
Nowhere in the world. Literally nowhere in the world. I've been all over the world. It's the only place I've ever been. Okay, so go ahead.
I was wondering, you did a jump from Samwise to the Pratchett films, The Color of Magic, when you did Two Flower. How was that for you? Like, was it fun kind of jumping between being kind of this comic relief to being totally the comic relief?
Well, I finally felt like I was in on the joke because I had met Terry Pratchett in New Zealand a few years earlier. And the other thing was I was fat as Samwise Gamgee. He's a stupid fat hobbit if you read the book. Mm-hmm. As Two Flower, I could be skinny. So you guess which one I had more fun doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but also I really admire Terry Pratchett and love the story, love the fantasy, love the satirical elements of it, the tongue-in-cheek, just buffoonery that we got to do. Loved it, and getting to work with one of the great English actors of all time, Sir David Jason, was fantastic. So yeah, it's great to be able to migrate, sort of franchise hop,
yeah.
if you will. You see certain people do it. Christopher Lee does it. He's in every great. It's not a powerful international blockbusting franchise if Christopher Lee isn't in it. So I'd love to take a page out of his playbook and just,
Yeah, for sure. And which one do you think you prefer, like, out of the two?
Well, I think Samwise Gamgee is a literary character for the ages. I think he's arguably one of the most important literary figures, in the top 100 out of a billion. I think what Terry Pratchett created with Two Flower was really sweet and really fun and really silly. But if you had to put the two up against each other, you'd have to say that my whole life has been about trying to achieve. And no matter what I have, I always try and achieve something I just can't get to. Somebody's always saying no to that next thing that I want. So I feel like my whole life was designed, even playing Rudy was a, sort of setting the table for being able to play Samwise Gamgee. So, Sam.
All right. Next.
Okay, I guess I'll go next. I'm Adrian from YouGeek Media. I noticed that you're Raphael in Ninja Turtles. I wasn't aware of that. I haven't had the opportunity to watch.
Come on! Stop talking and start fighting!
So now I really need to.
If you were
to get
9, you'd know that.
For sure. Yeah, my son's a little bit too young, so I got to get him into that soon. But we talked to Kelly Hu. She was here at Comic-Con Fan X. So is there plans to bring like all the Ninja Turtles to a reunion here in Salt Lake?
There have been discussions about getting Turtles together at different conventions. It would certainly be pleasing to everyone to come to Salt Lake City and do that. We'll see, I suppose. It's really just a question of schedules and timing and that sort of thing. But no, it'd be great. I love it when little kids come out and sign their Ninja Turtles mask, and it's awesome. It's really, I'm really proud of it. We just got picked up for a 4th season.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and I was never a real fan of the franchise when kids were enjoying it in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. But what these animators are doing, they're creating an almost cinematographic style realism. Just the way they frame the shots and the way they do it. I just really personally enjoy it. So.
And one more quick question. Is there any truth to the rumors of the Goonies sequel?
There will be. There will be truth to it as soon as it happens. And it will happen. Sure as I'm sitting here. There's a whole thing during Lord of the Rings where, oh, they should make The Hobbit. Oh, they'll never make The Hobbit. And Peter Jackson would always say, oh, they're not going to do it. You know, they won't pay for it. Or the rights are boggled down with this, that, and the other thing. And people would ask me, and I was 100% without question certain that The Hobbit would be done and that Peter Jackson would do it. And when Guillermo del Toro, who I just worked for in a movie that's coming out, in a TV series that's coming out next week, The Strain on FX, went down there to do it, I thought, well, he'd be a great person to do it, but I couldn't imagine him actually doing it. I could really only imagine Peter doing it. And so when they did it, everyone was surprised. And I'm like, nope. I said it would happen. Sean Soothsayer decreed. So I do the same thing about Goonies. It will happen. Whether or not it's in my lifetime, I don't know. But when the audience, when people are out there and they scream and yell as loud as they do for that movie, and every city I go to, people come by the thousands to talk about that movie, when it's supposedly the most outdoor screened movie last summer, you know, the studio is leaving a lot of money on the table if they don't get it done. And I know Steven wants to do it. I know Dick wants. Everybody knows Dick wants to do it. So it's really just a question of them getting a script they want and moving forward. So, but there's no news as far as I know.
Have you been approached at all?
I have not. You were going to ask a question.
No, I was actually the follow-up.
That was the follow-up. Come on. Okay, you got a thought?
I do, but
Oh, Daniel, don't close. So, you know, what is it like? Sorry, coming to these conventions and still after years and years with Goonies and playing Sam, seeing all the fans coming up to you and still super excited about these roles you play.
Actors are, as a breed, a bit narcissistic. So when something I've done does well, some part inside me is like, well, of course I did it. But there's a whole lot of stuff that I've done that isn't remembered in that way. I suppose I oscillate between total shock and sincere sort of gratification that that's the case. The thing that blows my mind is that, we were all talking at the same time in the movie. All 7 kids are doing stuff and hard to track. And if you watch it, it's very much of its time. It's Spielberg's sense of majesty and poetry, and it's Dick's sense of adventure, and they're all a bunch of hippies, and people say the wrong name for the character, and they leave that in the movie, and they talk about an octopus that didn't show up, and nobody cares. It's like, woohoo, we're making a movie, So there's something about that kind of. It's just, this is what people say to me over and over and over again, and I understand that it's true, and that is that it represents a very specific time in their life. They say the second I start it, it's like I'm back in 1986, and I know where I'm in my house, I'm in the backyard, I'm playing Goonies with my buddies in the woods out behind the house. So I get that that's true. It's certainly true for me. It was my childhood. So, I'm always warmed by it. And it never gets old. It never gets old. I hear it 1,000 times a day on these convention settings. And because each person who says it, and they're an individual. And they look at you and they go, you don't understand. This meant the world. This was my childhood. And I look at it and I'm like, that's cool, man. That's right on. So it's also a privilege to be able to be a guest in a place like this and get paid money to come and sign autographs, take pictures, greet fans, do Q&A. I give speeches all over the world, and this is a great way to do that. You've been so patient.
Mine's kind of dorky. So, obviously, coming to conventions, there's a lot of cosplay.
Yeah.
So
this one with really a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the ratio is high here. Cosplay ratio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just people,
it's been a lot.
just civilians who are getting into the costume idea, even if it's not cosplay, even if they're just, you know, little boy dresses up as Superman or something. Like everyone seems to be dressed up here, whereas in a lot of the other conventions, it's like 65, 70%.
So I'm wondering if you had to come in cosplay as something.
Stormtrooper.
Okay.
And you've got an R2-D2 little cover on there.
Yeah, I do.
I've
Yeah.
actually dressed up as a stormtrooper before in order to move with unfettered ease between at a convention, particularly at Comic-Con. You want to, and you never get to see, the actors never really get to see the booths. There's all these great, you know, comic booth vendors and artists and all these other things, and we're always doing our thing. So putting on a stormtrooper helmet and disappearing into the crowd, you start to feel the power that other people feel, that sense of invincibility that comes with being someone else. Kids get that. Kids get it for sure, but now that grown-ups are getting it a lot, it's pretty cool. Yeah. There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Or I would just wear a Doctor Who telephone booth headband.
You need TARDIS.
TARDIS,
Okay.
yeah. TARDIS, yeah. TARDIS on my head, yeah. I see those. I'm not going to do the earrings, so. Yeah. There's a little headband, and it's got a phone booth on the top of it. And people love their Doctor Who.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you watch Doctor Who?
I watched the first 2 episodes of the original, and I watched maybe 3 episodes of what I think is the newer, where they mannequins and come out. You know that one, yeah.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, but I didn't find myself. I found myself enjoying the kitsch quality that it has, and not. And this is the same thing that happened with me with Star Trek. It took me 40 years, 30 years. It took me 30 solid years until I was down in New Zealand and read Arthur C. Clarke's nonfiction essays about space travel and stuff that I got the potency of science fiction. Before that, when Star Trek, all I saw was silly phaser guns and little strings with the millennium, whatever it's called. And so I did like Star Wars a lot. I was a Star Wars kid. You know, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would you rather Mikey have like a sentimental passing of the torch moment to kids, or would you rather
That's
him
what I've
actually go
advocated. That's exactly what I say should happen. Or what's the option?
or actually go on the adventure?
I think everybody wants to see the grown-ups on the adventure. I certainly want to see the grown-ups on the adventure. I think they're working on the balance between those two things right now. And I think what I just said in a big hall with 2,000 people the other day was, for my money, like towards the end of the movie, the torch is passed to the kids. And then they can have a perennial, they can do 1 million of them. But if you just do a thing where you say hi to the grown-ups at the beginning, and then you move on to another adventure with the kids, I think it's going to leave people feeling a little bit unsatisfied.
And I'm going to ask one real quick fun question, and stop me if I'm out of line. Arwen, Galadriel, Éowyn. Bang, marry, kill.
You got to text my wife for permission to play this game. For Sam?
Yeah.
All right, okay. Sam's playing this game down at the Green Dragon or whatever. Rosie's at home with one of the 15 children, and Sam's. So we've got Éowyn, Arwen, and
Galadriel.
Galadriel. Well, there's the obvious way to go with it. There's the obvious way to go. I think Sam loves the elves so much that he'd marry the Galadriel. The one he met, right? He didn't meet. Did he meet the others?
Arwen?
Arwen. Yeah, I guess he met Arwen. What are the other options besides? He wants to marry Galadriel,
Okay.
and the other two are Éowyn,
Yeah.
who's Miranda Otto. Yeah, I think he. What's the third one?
Galadriel,
It's
Arwen.
Galadriel. Galadriel. That's how they say it.
Galadriel.
Yeah. What do I know?
Galadriel.
Yeah.
Arwen or Eowyn?
Arwen. What's the second option? Beside, we know Mary and we know the other one, but what's the middle one?
Arwen?
Yeah, no, the middle
Do
option.
and kill.
Mary, bang,
What is it?
kill.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
and kill.
Bang, marry, kill.
Yeah, being married.
Wow, maybe you should kill Galadriel or kill one of the elves because they're immortal. Yeah. So,
Bang, marry, kill. Arwen?
yeah, I think you would say maybe Galadriel, Arwen, Eowyn.
Yep, okay. All right. Make this process, sorry.
Notice how I avoid saying any of the actual words.
Very diplomatic.
Okay.
All right.
And I blamed it on Sam.
Right, exactly. Good scapegoat. Drew with the Geek Tyrant.
Does the word geek factor into everyone's title?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Geek Tyrant, aren't they all?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, go.
Okay. So my first question is, you got the Strand coming up here, which is looking to be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And did you get to work with Guillermo del Toro on that?
Yeah, he directed the pilot. And he was there.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's great.
Yeah.
Guillermo's.
How was it working with him?
He's just one of the smart. He's really, really, really smart.
Mhm.
And he applies his intelligence in such a kind of oblique manner
Okay.
that as a kind of straight, narrow guy, all evidence to the contrary, it's just fun watching. You sort of ask a question, or you hear a conversation come up, and he just tilts it on its side and drives it right through a cliff. You know, he's
Right.
really an interesting man, and just full of life and energy, positive energy. Everybody loves him. You just want to hug him all the time.
I've heard-
He's self-deprecating, but he's a very serious. He's serious about his work. You know, it's all fun and games until you start talking about doing the thing, and it has to be right for him, which is good.
That is good. How was it different working with him, say, as opposed to Peter Jackson? Both great visionary directors and storytellers.
Yeah, well, both have a similar whimsical quality. I think Peter's quieter, sort of on the set.
Yeah.
Guillermo communicates using his voice, you know, across the room, comfortably. I think that would be the most noticeable difference, but they're both incredibly specific, articulate. There's no ambiguity as to what either one of them are looking for when they ask you a question or give you a command.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then one more kind of fun question like hers. We're putting on a panel that's called Dumbledore versus Gandalf. Who would win in a
Gandalf.
fight? Gandalf?
Yeah, well, come on. What kind of questions is that? I thought he was a geek. Your stripes have just been, you're demoted. You're demoted. An honest fight between Dumbledore and Gandalf.
An honest fight.
Dumbledore's special quality is his honesty.
Yeah.
Gandalf can turn you into a toad.
At a Balrog.
Yeah, he can fight a Balrog. His staff is full of like. You're not going to find a lot of video games with Dumbledore running around shooting people. You know, Gandalf is that's just not. It's not a legit question.
You sound like our fans. It's awesome.
Cool.
The panel, right?
Yeah. Right. Do you wanna
Any of
come
your
on the-
fans
It's gonna be a very
do I want to
one-sided
be on the
panel.
panel?
Yeah.
Well, I've probably just shot my whole wad there with.
Hey, no, we got it's a quick little fight.
Dumbledore and Sam sound alike. The West Country. Sam says potatoes, and Dumbledore's oh, Harry Potter. You know, it's the same thing. My money, you'd have to bet on Gandalf over almost anyone. You bet on him over Sauron, he'd whoop Darth Vader's ass. I mean,
All right.
who the what are the guys in Star Trek? The baddies.
Oh, like
What?
The board?
Yeah, the
Klingons?
Klingons.
yeah.
Klingons, no match against Gandalf. Give me the franchise where there's actually somebody who can take on Gandalf.
Batman.
I think Batman wouldn't make it, but Superman could probably put up a good fight.
All right, that's good to hear. Someone can put up a good fight against Gandalf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if he could see through the shield. Joke is that anybody can see through the shield. Sorry. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other thoughts? Yeah.
You played Doug.
Yeah.
Is
Sounds kind of fruity.
I mean, like sets like Peter Jackson, I imagine it's very professional, very. I mean, I've seen stuff where it seems pretty straightforward, but working with like Adam Sandler and all those guys, is that like a complete 180 from a lot of other?
I think it's more similar than you might imagine. All of them, the greats, know when to cut loose and laugh. They know when to just see where her brain is.
It's a very funny pose. I'm sorry.
That's the Boyd. Oh, I thought you were doing a fart joke. So, comedy is serious business. Now, Adam Sandler can laugh uproariously. In fact, every take when there's something that's funny is he does laugh, and he moves on once he knows he sort of laughed out on that bit. So, and there's a way in which other people laughing at the same time is cool. But if somebody who comes to visit the set and you aren't kind of inside the heads of what people are focused on and thinking about and doing, you can't impose that kind of outside jocularity on it. It's a very nuanced thing. So there's a lot more seriousness and purpose in the comedy than and there's a lot more silliness and laughter and all kinds of fan fiction type stuff that happens on the set of movies like Lord of the Rings. So yeah, maybe in inverse proportions, but both are true. They're both really funny and they're both really serious.
Just one more. You mentioned your family several times. What is it you do as a person, as a man, to find balance between all
Next
the
question. Let's go back to the ice cream questions.
And the second half is, what do you look forward to most when you get home?
Well, the second one first. It's the first 30 seconds.
Yeah?
Well, I try to train them that, if Dad's away and I'm making money and I'm supposed to be the big shot or whatever, and I walk in, I want you to stop whatever you're doing. Is it safe, and isn't going to ruin the pie that you've got, whatever. But if it's, if you can mute the, pause the TV, set down the drawing, just put your book down for a minute, and run to the door and give me a Little House on the Prairie, we love you, Dad, hug. I get that about 20% of the time, but when I walk in and I just see what everybody's doing, just noting that they're alive, that they're at peace, yeah, that's the best. That's the best. The hard thing, finding balance, is a ridiculous question, like the Gandalf one, because anybody who would presume to have, if somebody does have balance, like genuine balance, not like, magazine interview balance, I want to know about it, because it's impossible. I think it's impossible. So you try by listening. The best advice I ever give anybody is the hardest advice to follow, which is that listening is a great palliative technique. So if I can really listen to them. The other thing, and I said this over there, it's hard to be wrong all the time. I used to be right about a lot of stuff. That's gone the way of the dodo bird. I'm mostly wrong about everything, and it's really, really hard to kind of accept that, but still put my best effort forward for the moments when me being right is really critical, mission critical to the family. I usually jump up and down about safety issues. Not that that's necessary. They're gonna get hurt. Now the little one is so rambunctious. She's so jumping all over everything, and she's always getting hurt. And so I try and take her to, please, you see the corner of that thing? You're gonna crack your skull against it. We're gonna be in the this is what the stitches are gonna look like. And I okay. She finally gets crack. And my wife has this unbelievable Zen quality. She could answer the balance question. She's balanced. I don't know. They came with me on this trip, so once I say goodnight to all you people, I'll go find some balance with them tonight.